the sleeping man was suddenly jolted awake by a tremendous crash. Water surged into the cabin. He scrambled to his feet in panic, trying to locate the source of the leak, only to discover the hull was perfectly intact. Instead, a gaping hole had been torn through the cabin wall, with seawater pouring in relentlessly. Startled, the man hurried to climb out of the cabin, but halfway up, he froze in astonishment. On the empty sea surface, a massive container over 20 meters long was wedged tightly against his boat. Moving along with it, the man wondered how such an enormous container could be floating at sea and happened to collide with his vessel. While the man stood bewildered, he suddenly noticed a small hole on the side of the container. An idea immediately struck him. He entered the storage room and hauled out a heavy sandbag. Climbing onto the container, he threaded the sandbag's rope through the hole, securing it to the container. Without hesitation, he threw the sandbag into the sea. Soon, weighed down by gravity, the container was anchored in place and finally separated from the yacht. Taking advantage of the time, the man mixed his materials together, stirring them expertly until he had prepared a strong adhesive. He crouched by the boat's side, carefully applying it to the wall, attempting to seal the breach. After patching the crack, he returned to the cabin and cleaned everything thoroughly. Only when the adhesive on the cabin wall had solidified was the rescue operation complete. Only then did the man finally relax. But just as he was about to eat, he discovered rainwater leaking through what should have been a sealed deck. Sensing trouble, he rushed up to investigate. The sight before him left him stunned. Dark clouds blanketed the sea surface, and a storm was imminent. The man hurried back to the cabin, found his raincoat and put it on. He climbed back onto the deck, trying to take down the canvas to prevent the yacht from being blown away by the storm. Suddenly, a fierce gust knocked him to the ground. He struggled to his feet, determined to continue, but merciless waves swept him directly into the sea. The situation was critical. After what seemed like forever, the man desperately swam to the surface. He laboriously climbed back aboard and took shelter in the cabin, hoping to rest and recover his strength. But the relentless storm gave him no chance to recuperate. The man looked around helplessly, realizing the massive volume of seawater would soon engulf the entire yacht. He alone couldn't possibly save it. Left with no choice, he temporarily abandoned the yacht and took refuge in the life raft, planning to figure something out after the storm passed. Late at night, the man groggily awakened to find a large cargo ship passing nearby. Without time to celebrate, he quickly grabbed his signal flares and fired them into the sky, hoping to attract the ship's attention. Yet despite launching all his flares, there was no response from the cargo vessel. The cruel reality reminded him that the ship had sailed away. He wouldn't be rescued. Even so, the man refused to give up. Ships in these shipping lanes might only pass once every few months. If he didn't seize this opportunity, death awaited him. So he surveyed his surroundings from the life raft, continuing to search for ways to attract attention. Soon he pulled out a book he'd kept for years from a box, tearing it without hesitation into individual pages. He then crumpled the pages and threw them into the box, igniting a fire in the pitch-black night, hoping to draw the ship's attention. But no matter how bright the man made the fire burn, the cargo ship didn't slow down, continuing to move farther away. Instead, the increasingly intense flames burst uncontrollably from the box, setting the entire life raft ablaze. Watching the roaring flames, the man was at a loss. He frantically tried to extinguish the fire but slipped and tumbled into the sea. The icy water instantly enveloped him, extinguishing the last spark of hope for survival in his heart.